Hey, this is Daniel from Adorama. I'm here with the brand new Pentax KP. This is their newest DSLR. It's very compact and designed just to be carried with you everywhere. So Pentax dropped this camera off and I was able to walk around with it last night in the streets of New York City, and let me run through some of the features. So the KP has a APS-C sensor. It's 24 megapixels. You can also shoot full HD video and do time lapse, both in video format, which is like a 4K video, or you can shoot it as stills and assemble it yourself later. It's got image stabilization, so if you're just wandering around with it, you don't have to worry about having a tripod all the time. This has a manual shutter, but it also has an electronic shutter, which is going to allow you to essentially get your shutter speed all the ways up to 24,000 a second, which is going to be amazing if you're in a really bright space and you want to shoot, let's say, wide open. So the image stabilization in this camera is done by stabilizing the sensor. So it's pretty cool. That means you can throw any lens on here and be stabilized, but also they're able to add a couple cool features. One is that the sensor doesn't have a AA filter, right? So it makes much sharper images, but using the stabilization ability, they're able to simulate that. So they can kind of like take care of some of that moire you may have if you're shooting things where you need an AA filter. Also, their pixel shift technology allows you to shoot bigger files by shifting the sensor as you're shooting to create, again, a more megapixel file. This camera shoots JPEG, of course, Pentax's own RAW files, and also DNG. You can process the RAW files in camera, so if you're traveling around, let's say, and you're not carrying a computer with you, you can actually create a JPEG in camera with whatever effects you want, and then transfer it using Wi-Fi. So the KP is a DSLR, which to me is kind of cool because a lot of cameras now coming out are mirrorless cameras, and some of us prefer to actually have an optical viewfinder. So if you're like me and you like that feature, this may be a great option for you. One cool thing too that's customizable about this is you can see the grip here is actually interchangeable. Comes with a couple of different grips for different hand sizes, which I think is really important because with this camera, as you see, there's so many different buttons and stuff, so you want to get that grip exactly the way you want it so you can reach all of your buttons and dials. So like most Pentax cameras, this camera is weather sealed and dust proof, so you can just throw it over your shoulder, you don't have to worry about it. It can take a little bit of a beating. I have the 40mm pancake on here, so it was just easy to walk around and shoot with. One thing that I really like about this camera is that it's got tons of buttons and controls outside. You don't have to go into the menu very often. So for somebody like me, that's great. I love to just be able to turn dials to adjust things as opposed to going into the menus. When I'm walking around, I don't like to keep pulling the menu up. In fact, because it's a DSLR and because I have the screen turned off, basically the camera is essentially not using any of its electronics when I'm just walking around generally. Then I can pick the camera up, put it to my eye, and take a picture, which I think works really well, and I'm sure over time will help with battery life. If you are like trying to get some funky angles too, it does have the flip screen, so you can definitely put a flip screen out, and there is a live view mode, of course, so you can use it like that if you prefer. So I'd like to thank Pentax for dropping off the KP. It was really fun to use. I look forward to using it a little bit more. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to Adorama TV, and I'll see you next time.